The recording is also started. Okay. So yesterday we have completed the degree of association. One is aggregation, second one is composition. Right. Today the last topic is pending under the as a relation. Under what? As a relationship. Right. So which is called as what? The dependency injection. Okay. So you will be coming across this, the dependency injection in the future classes very often. Okay. And what is this dependency injection? Okay, this may look like a fancy word, but by knowingly or unknowingly, we will be using these concepts a lot in the Java projects. Okay. What is a dependency injection? So in order to put it in simple words, let us say that you are going to purchase the computer. Okay, you just want to purchase the computer, and let us say that the name of the computer is Lenovo, right? So since it is just a computer, right? If you want to just if you just open the CPU, you will be finding a lot of components. You just open the CPU, right? You will be finding a lot of components which is not manufactured by the Lenovo company. Right? For example, if you open the CPU, you might be surprised to find the RAM is manufactured by a different company. Okay, the RAM is manufactured by a different company. Okay, and you might be a little surprised to find the SD card. Okay, the SD card is manufactured by a different company. Okay, and these are the major things, right? You just check these three things whenever you are purchasing a computer. So these are the major things that you usually observe. Like the processor, okay, the processor might be manufactured by a different company. Okay? All these components are assembled together to form a CPU, and a CPU will be coming under the Lenovo company. So the computer itself is going to fall under Lenovo company. But if you just open the CPU and if you just observe the parts, okay, you might be surprised to see that RAM is from a different manufacturer by a different company. SD card is nothing but the hard disk. It's manufactured by a different company. Processor manufactured by a different company. Right? So these are the components. These are the components. I can also call this. These are called as the dependent components. The dependency components. Dependency components. Okay, and the actual computer, the actual Lenovo computer, this is the bigger picture that we talk about. This Lenovo computer, this is called as the dependent component. Dependent component. Right. So in order to see that your computer or your laptop, this Lenovo is functioning properly, internally it has many dependency components. Okay, internally it is dependent upon the RAM, the SD card, the processor, which is being manufactured by different companies. But as a whole, if you look at this as a whole, you will just say that okay, the product is what the product is the byproduct of the actual Lenovo product is the byproduct of RAM, SD card, and processor, which are called as what the dependency components. Okay, without these dependency components, you cannot see that the Lenovo computer is running perfectly. You cannot run the Lenovo laptop. It is not guaranteed that each and every component is going to be manufactured by the Lenovo itself. It is not like that. They get parts from different companies as a contract. Okay, they just assemble it together to form what? To form the single computer. Right? Understand these terms. Okay, try to understand these terms. Okay, the broader picture that I'm talking about. Okay, Lenovo is called as a dependent component, and the components that are part of Lenovo computer is called as what? The dependency component. Okay, let me convert this analogy with a small real-time example. Right? So I want to take the class. Okay, the name of the class. Let me say that the name of the class is like simple. Let me keep it simple. The student class. Okay, so this is my student class. In my student class, I will be taking two properties. One is what? The name property. sequence of characters. So I am taking it as string. Second one is what we call it as the the employee, not employee number, student number property. Okay, which is of what, integer type. These are the two properties I am taking under the student class, right? And also I am taking another class. Okay, I am taking another class. Let me take the class a little bit over here. Okay, class address. Before proceeding this, let me tell you one thing. So you may look, you might be feeling like all the classes that I have taken so far, okay, are similar, are completely similar, but it is not similar. There is a lot of difference between one-to-one association, one-to-many association, many-to-one association, many-to-many association, and also the degree of associations, especially the aggregation, composition. Everything looks similar, but they are not similar. And also even this dependency also looks similar, but they are not similar. You're trying to understand these things bit by bit, part by part. Okay, don't have an assumption that every classes are similar. So these are like the similar topics. It is not. It is not like that. Okay. So let us come back to this concept, dependence injection. Okay, I have the address as address can have the state. Okay, I'm taking two properties. One is the state property, and second one is what, city property. Right. So if you see, I can say that I have two classes, or I can say that I have two entities. Whatever it is, I can say like. Always remember, right? So I want to include this address entity, or I want to include this address part inside my student class. I want to include this address object inside my student class. So what I will be doing, I'll be just saying, okay, address. The meaningful variable name is what, add, something like that. We are talking about dependence injection, right? Right. So this is how it looks like. So if I want to name this, okay, if you want to name my class, this class can also be called as the container class. Container class, and this is what we call it as the contained class. These are the two classes that we have, container and the container class. Any class, okay, if it is having information about another class, that becomes a container. Okay, when a class is being exposed inside another class, that is called as the container class. These things are we have been seeing this for the last 7 classes. Now what I am doing, we are just now the actual dependency injection is coming into the picture. We just create an object for the address. So what I would usually say, I would say address obj equal to new address, isn't it? So this would be like this. Address, increase it font size. Address obj equal to new address. Okay, an object has been created for address. So always remember, we have to create the object for the container class first. Okay, because of this object creation, we know these things. An object will be created for the new keyword. Every new keyword, an object will be created in the heap area, and it is going to allocate memory for all the instance variables. Okay, you have the state instance variable, and you have another city variable like city instance variable. The beginning, every value is going to be a null will be assigned to every variable. Okay, and this is going to get an address like what, obj. The address reference is what, obj. So we know these things. Next one is, so after creating the object for the address class, I want to create an object for the student class. A student is, let me say student is equal to a new student. Okay, now if you see, an object will be created for the student class, and if you see the student class, there are three properties. Okay, one is the name property. Okay, the beginning, the value null will be assigned to this variable. Serial number, the value null will be assigned to this variable, and for add, the value null will be assigned to the variable. Okay, and this is going to have the reference like what, the reference is going to be what, s is the reference. Okay, so far things are going very good. Okay, now where is the dependency injection? Okay, if you look at this two object, I can see two objects here. One is the object for address, and second one is the object of student. Okay. If I ever add to name this object, I can say that, okay, the student object or the object that is created from the container class is called as what? The dependent object. Why this is called as the dependent object? Because it is depending upon this object has three properties. Okay, and if you look at the three properties, so this property is going to expect a direct value, right? This property is also going to expect a direct value. You can assign the direct values to these properties, but when you look at the address property, right, values are not directed. Okay. This is called as what? This is the dependent variable inside the student class. Dependent variable. Okay. So you need to. It is not like you can simply create an object for the student class so that you can assign all the values. No, no, no. First, you need to create a dependent object first. So dependent object, dependency object first. Address object needs to be created first. Then you can create an object for the student class. Okay. Since this container class is dependent upon the another class, the object that you are creating out of the container class will be called as a dependent object because it has the dependent value. Okay, the value that you are going to assign for this add variable is dependent upon another object. Okay, and object that is being exposed inside another object is called as what? The dependency object. What is it? Dependency object. Right? Now you have got some familiarity with the word, the dependent object and the dependency object. Right? Okay. Now, as I have already said, okay, for the for this the state variable, direct value is required. For the city variable, you can assign the direct value, and even for these two variables, you are okay to assign the direct values. So this is expecting. Okay, these fields are expecting what? These fields are expecting the direct values. Direct values. However, this field is not expecting the direct value. Okay, you want to inject the values to this field. You just want to do what? You want to inject the values to this field. Okay, you just want to inject the values. How you can perform the injection? Injection is nothing but injecting the values, injecting the actual values to the one of the variables inside the dependent object. Okay, so the injection is categorized into two types. One way of injecting is, you call it as what? The constructor injection. With the help of constructor, you can perform what? You can perform injecting the data. Constructor injection. Constructor dependency injection. The second way is you have an option to inject values by using setter method dependency injection. Okay. By this, I can conclude that the dependency injection is majorly categorized into two types. One is by using constructors, you can inject the inject the dependency object to the dependent object by using constructor dependency injection. Second one is what? By using setter method dependency injection. Right? Let me put some theory here. Okay, and what I can say here. Okay. You can say that the dependency injection is a mechanism inject dependency object to the dependent object. It can be achieved in two ways. First way is by using the constructor dependency injection. The second one is by using what? By using a setter method dependency injection. These are the two major ways where you can achieve the dependency injection. Okay. So if I want to explain this further, when you inject dependency object to the dependent object by using constructor. Okay, it is called as constructor dependency injection. Likewise, when you inject the dependency object to the dependent object by using setter method, it is called as what? The setter method dependency injection. Okay, we will see these things in details. Okay, we are going to see these things in details, right? And what else we can have? Okay, let me create a class for this. Let us understand this programmatically so that I can compare the program with our diagram in the paintbrush. Okay, now focus here. Firstly, I want to create a project, file, new, Java project. Right, today is April 4th now. Let me name the project as April 4th. Okay, click on next. And click on next. Okay, April 4th. This is our project name. So there is a folder called SRC. Just right click on that folder. Okay, and you will get an option like new. I have already clicked it. It is taking some time. It happens. So how many packages we are supposed to create? We are supposed to create one package for student class and one package for address class and one package to run the main method. So we are supposed to create three packages. Not do this. Package form dot test dot student package is created to hold the student class. Okay, and let me create another package, file new and package. I'm taking package like com dot test dot student package we have, and we have the address package. Okay. The third package is file new package form dot test dot driver package. Okay, so always create the class for first construct the class for the dependency object or the contained class. Both are same. So I'm taking the class. The name of the class is address class. Okay, my address class has obviously there are two variables inside my address class. Okay, I want to apply only two properties. One property is what with respect to our brain base state property and the city property. So you have string state and you have string city. Okay. So every variable has to be private because these are the encapsulation, the data carry. It's mandatory to keep it as private or highly recommended, I can say. Okay. I have created the two properties. So I just want to take the constructors to initialize values. Okay, I'm saying file source generate constructors using fields generate. So I can remove the super keyword not required. So this is all argument constructor. I also want to take another constructor, which is what? Which is the no or constructor. Public address no or constructor. So my address classes the two variables and two constructors. So the all argument constructors is used to what? Set values to the instance variables. Set values to what? Set values to the instance variables. Right? Now let me design the class for the student let me design the class for the student class. File new class. Okay, this is going to be student. Finish. My student class is going to have three properties, right? What are the properties that we are going to take? Name property, number property, and address property, right? So, and there you go. Okay, string name, okay, and integer, okay, the number, and you have what? You have the address property. We need to import this because it is part of a different package. If you just place the mouse on the respective data type, you get the options. Okay, just click on import. It will done automatically. Okay, private. Every variable has to be private. Private and private. Okay, so far things are so good. Things are so good so far. Now what I want to do here is, right? I want to create the main class. Okay, inside the driver package. File new class. Okay. Name of this class is the driver class. I'm checking this public static void. Okay. So now I have three classes. One of the classes are the main class. Okay. So for the main class, I'm just creating an object for the address. Address a equal to new address. It is showing a kind of red line. Okay, it is just giving us an alert to import. So what I want to do here is I want to set the values to the constructors. Okay, first one is it is expecting the city name, isn't it? I mean state name or the city name. Okay, state name I'm taking it as Tamil Nadu. City name is going to be like okay then. So this is going to do something behind the scenes. This part is going to do what? This part is going to do something like this. One object is getting created, right? And you have what? You have the name, I mean city variable, city, I mean the state and the city. State and the city. In beginning, every variable will be assigned with the value null. Okay, and as soon as you set the values through the constructor, okay, the actual changes will happen. Tamil Nadu, this is becoming what? This is becoming the Chennai. Right? Okay, this is the replacement. Null will be replaced because you are setting these values through the constructor. The constructor. Still, the dependency injection did not come into the picture because just go and see. You are directly setting the values. You are not depending upon another object here. Okay? You are directly setting the values. These are straightforward values. You are setting the values within the same class. Okay? This address class does not have any what we call it as any dependent objects. It does not have any the dependency objects, dependency properties. So this is the straightforward value, and this is also the straightforward value. So things are very clear here. Things are very clear here, and this is going to be what? This is going to have a reference. What the reference is something like A. Right? Now the actual cinema is coming into the picture. Now what will happen? Okay, if I just try to create an object for the student class, student obj or student is equal to new student, right? So I need to import this, import student, right? Now you see, the moment I start doing this, definitely behind the scenes an object will be created, right? So this is going to do what? This is going to create an object behind the scenes. An object will be created, and this is going to get a reference like S is the reference variable. Okay, automatically It will allocate memory for all the instance variables that are placed inside the student class, which are what? You have the name, you have the SN number, you have the address. Okay. So all these variables will get the memory will get allocated for all these variables inside the student object. Okay. So you have the name and you have what? You have the what we call the student number. Okay. And you have what? You have the address. I'm just taking the variable names here. I'm just taking the variable names. Right? Beginning the value null will be assigned. Beginning the value null will be assigned. Beginning the value null will be assigned. Okay, now focus here. Focus here. I'm only able to create an object, but I'm not able to assign the values to this instance variable. I'm not able to assign the values to the instance variables. Okay, I have decided to assign values to these instance variables, but if you see here, okay, so this is the name property, this is the SNO property, which means these two variables are expecting the direct value, but this variable is something like it is not expecting a direct value here. This is the dependent variable, which means I want to assign this data. I want to allocate the data that is there inside this object, data that is there inside the object, okay, to this variable. Okay, this is completely a dependent variable. This variable is depending upon the another object. This variable is completely depending upon the another object. Okay, I want to find a way to inject the values. I want to find a way to do what? I want to find a way to inject the values, okay, to this what we call as the reference variable. I want to do a kind of injection. What I want to inject? I want to inject the values that are there inside the dependency object. But which is the dependency object? Okay, this is the dependent object. I want to do what? I want to I want to inject the values of the dependency object to the dependent, right? Not dependency, dependent. Okay, what I want to perform? I want to inject the values that are there inside the dependency object to the dependent object. So I will be using the concept. This is called as what? Dependency injection. Okay, how I can do that? What I can do, just go back to the, you just go back to the student class. I am not having any kind of platform to inject the values here. If I don't have this address variable, I will not be having any issues. Okay, I can assign the values, but since I have address variable, definitely, even though if I have or if I don't have, definitely I need to have a constructor, right? Let me generate the constructor. I am saying file source generate constructors using fields. Okay, generate. Okay, I am using a constructor to inject the values to all my variables, including the dependent variable. Okay, how I am going to inject the values? Using a constructor. So my constructor is going to help me to inject the values for the non-dependent variable as well as for the dependent variable. So what I'm using here, I'm using a constructor. So this constructor will be called as what? This constructor is called as what? This is called as the constructor dependency injection. Constructor dependency injection. I am using a constructor to inject the dependency values to the dependent variable. That's why this constructor is called as what? The dependency constructor dependency injection. And again, internally, this is injecting values to the non-dependent variables as well as the dependent variable. No matter. One is the dependent variable. Since you are using dependent variable at least once, you are using a constructor to inject values. That's what is called as constructor dependency injection. Always remember, whenever you are creating the all argument constructor, it's your job to create the no argument constructor. You have to place this. Right? Now what I can do, go to the main class, okay, go to the driver class, right? So simply I can say that I will be using my constructor to pass what values this object, dependent object is expecting the name, serial number, and the address object, or the dependency object. That simply I can do that here, right? First I can pass what? I can pass the name of the student like something like Suresh, okay, and I can pass the what is the ID number, right? Let me say 1011. Okay, and I can pass the third one is it is expecting the dependency object. So this is the dependency object number. So I will pass a here directly. Yeah. So here I am injecting what? I am injecting the dependency object through this constructor. That's what is called as what? The constructor dependency injection. If I just try to what we call it as trace this. Okay, let us trace this. Trace this. I am taking the code here, right? And what I'm using to inject the values, I'm just simply using the constructor, right? So this is where is the constructor? This is the constructor. Okay. So same problems you are solving, so same things you are discussing, but every day we are identifying, we are finding the fancy words every single day. Right? In the interview, they ask you what is dependency injection. So we know this concept. Okay, we know this concept in a different way, but we are trying to understand this in a different way. The same as a relationship concept. This is talking about the as a relationship only. Okay, under the as a relationship, there are so many topics that are being covered. So dependency injection is one among them, but this dependency injection is, I'm taking this dependency injection with respect to core Java level. In core Java level, no one will teach you the dependency injection. This dependency injection of core Java level, which you can improve, where you can make some changes, small changes, okay, small changes to use the same, to apply the same understanding in the advanced Java topics or while developing the project. You will do a minute change, but this is the foundation, right? So this is my constructor. Okay, my constructor, what I am passing in my constructor. Okay, so I am passing Suresh, passing 1011. I am passing the reference variable of address, which is what? Which is here what? A, right? So this null will be replaced with Suresh, and S1O will be replaced with the number. Okay, this is going to be Suresh. One is going to be what? The number which is 1011. Okay? And this null is going to get replaced with the reference of the dependency object, which is A here. Done. You have successfully done what? You have successfully done the dependency injection. How did you do it? By using what? By using the constructor. So this is one of the ways that we can do. Okay? Let us say that if I don't have something like, when I don't have this address reference, okay, if there is no as a relationship between two classes, then you don't say that there is a dependency injection. Only if you have an information about another class, okay, you talk about the dependency object. This is called as what? Dependent variable. Right? What is the other way? What is the other way? I can do the same thing. I can do the same thing with the help of setters. I can inject the address value with the help of setters. Okay, right? So if I just generate setters, okay, right click here, source, okay, and let me generate getters and setters. So select setters, click on generate. So for each and every variable, a setter will be generated. You can set the name. This is the method name, set name, set S1O, set address. You have three components, right? You specifically look into this. This method is helping you to set the value for the dependent object from the dependency object. So this is called as what? Setter method dependency injection. Okay. What I want to do, let me go back to the code. Okay, let me go back to the the driver class, right? So I have done this already. I have set some values. Now I'm not happy with these values. I'm not happy with this value. Or let me create another object. Student S1 equal to. An object is created by using the s1 reference variable. I can set what? I can set name. This time the name is going to be Ramesh. Okay, I can s1 dot set what we call it as set SNO. Okay, I'm saying 1022. Okay, third one is s1 dot set address. Even the Ramesh is also lives in Chennai and Tamil Nadu. I'm passing the reference variable here. Okay, now focus here. So you are using the setters here, right? Setter method. Okay, what would happen? Another object will be created. Okay, and this is going to get the reference variable as s1, right? It is going to allocate name as what? Name is in the beginning, it is going to be null, and SNO is going to be null in the beginning, and the dependent object variable is going to be null. Okay? And you are using the setters now. You are using what? You are using the setters. You are calling the setters method. This method will do what? Firstly, you are injecting the Ramesh. In place of name, the Ramesh will be injected. Okay, in place of SNO, 1022 is getting injected. In place of null, A is getting injected. Okay, the dependency variable is getting injected here. Right? So this dependency variable is referring, this is, you are getting this from here. So you have achieved the dependency injection by how? The dependency object is injected. You have achieved the dependency injection by using which method? By using the setter method dependency injection. Dependency injection. Right? So this is ideally called as what? This concept is called, the concept that I have looked into this is called as what? The setter method dependency injection. Both are dependency injection only. You can go either for constructor or you can go either for what? Either for the setter method. It's up to you. But both are talking about the dependency injection. Right? Hope this is making some sense. Okay, let me make some changes in the code. I have this. So what I want to do here is simply I can do something like what can I do? Go to the student class. Okay. So I want to print the details of the students. Okay. Public void get student details. Say this method I'm building my own logic. System.out.println equal to student details. Okay. First one is student name. Okay, plus s. This s name is just name. It's just name. Okay. Just name. And student number or student ID. I can say student ID is SID. Yeah, SNO. At last, student is from. Now you use this dependent variable to get access to the dependency variable. Okay. So in order to get access, definitely there should be the getters. You want to get the value from the dependency variable, right? So address is the dependency variable. So I will be generating what? I will be generating the setters here. I'll be doing what? I'll be generating the setters here. How I can generate it? File source, generate getters and setters. Select not setters. Generate setters. Getters. Done. Okay, this is going to allow me to do what? Get the values in the of the dependency object. Right? Add dot get state. Okay. I'm also printing add dot get city. So I have a get student details method, right? So my get student details method, now it has access to what? It has access to the dependent object directly and the dependency objects indirectly, because values are set. Okay, we have achieved dependency injection. Because of this dependency injection, there is a connection between, there is a data navigation between two objects. Data is getting navigated between two objects. So this is one object, this is another object. So data is getting navigated. So this is one object, this is another object. Data is getting navigated successfully. Unlike by using constructors, here by using setters, right? We just want to get the values, right? If I just run this, if I just call the get student details method from the driver class on S object, get student details method, all the information that is there inside the S object will be displayed in the console. It's running some other class. Yesterday's class it is running. Let me student details are student name Suresh, student ID 1011, student is in Tamil Nadu at Chennai. These details are getting printed from the S reference variable. If I just try to change it to S1, we will get the details of the student inside the S1 object. Right, now Ramesh 1022 is at Tamil Nadu and Chennai. Right, so again this is generally talking about the many to one relationship. So we have discussed those things. Okay, but our context today is all about what? All about the dependency injection. So when someone is asking in the interview question, especially in the core Java level, okay, this is completely fine. Okay, the dependency injection is a mechanism to inject dependency object to dependent object. Can be achieved in two ways, right? One of the ways are what? This is what is constructor dependency injection and what is the setter method dependency injection. If you explain these things, okay, that these things are more than enough in the from the interview point of view. And also you can add few more things here. A few more things can be like it is the one of the design patterns. Design patterns is used to ensure that code would be tested without any impulse. So internally you can achieve use coupling. It is also help to achieve use coupling. So loose coupling is something like if you just want to think like this. Let me open this. Okay, because of this dependency injection, right? So this object is okay. These values are getting supplied from outside the class, right? These values are getting supplied from outside the class. Even though if this class is going to make any changes to these variables in the runtime, okay, if you if you remove city or if you add a few more variables here, okay, and this is not going to affect this class. This is not going to affect the student class because these values are supplied from outside the variable. Right? What I'm trying to say is we have seen this example, this Lenovo example, laptop example, right? So you can use Lenovo, but still if you want to change, you can change the RAM, you can change the SD card, you can change the processor. It will not affect Lenovo laptop. You can move to a different company. Okay? This understanding will come when we start designing, when we start developing our first mini project. Okay, for that, till now, okay, when I say loose company, which means it is independent. Okay, it's independent. It's like getting the independent nature. You have free to make changes to the dependency objects. Just understand like this for now, right? And the code could be tested without any interest. So these 2 points will be covered in the Java project. There you will understand. Okay. So that's all.